So the floodwaters are finally gone. The ark's door creaks open, and Noah, his family, they all step out into a world that's been, well, washed completely clean. This is humanity's second shot, a total reset. But what do you do when you have to rebuild everything from the ground up? Let's dive into the rules, the promises, and the family drama that happen next. I mean, just imagine it for a second. The whole world is brand new. You're standing there on damp ground with your family and, literally every animal on the planet. Where do you even begin? What are the first steps? What are the new rules for this new world? So before humanity could even start thinking about rebuilding, a new foundation had to be laid. And God's first move was to lay out the ground rules for life in this post-flood world. The very first thing that happens is a blessing. And it's a command that might sound a little familiar, right? It's echoing what was said to Adam and Eve way back at the dawn of creation. The mission is back on. Be fruitful and fill the earth. This isn't just about picking up where they left off. It's a signal that this is, in a way, a whole new creation story. Okay, and this is where we see some huge fundamental changes to how the world works. First, the entire relationship between people and animals gets a rewrite. Fear is now officially part of the dynamic. Second, there's a major change in the menu. For the first time ever, people are explicitly told they can eat meat. But there's a really important condition. You can't eat the blood, because the blood is seen as the life force of the animal itself. And maybe most importantly, a law is set against murder, making it crystal clear just how sacred human life is. This really becomes the bedrock for civil justice. All right, so with the new rules in place, the story moves to one of its most famous, most iconic moments, a divine, unbreakable promise we call a covenant. Now, it's super important to understand what a covenant actually is. This is not just a casual promise, okay? Think of it more like a sacred treaty, a binding contract between God and all of humanity. It has immense weight, and it's designed to last forever. And this right here, this is the heart of that promise. God declares that the very thing that was just used for judgment, a world-ending flood, is now being retired. For good. It's a guarantee of stability, not just for us, but for the entire planet and every single living creature on it. So how is everyone supposed to remember this eternal promise? Well, through the rainbow. It gets transformed from just a beautiful thing that happens in the sky into a deliberate, powerful sign. It's a physical reminder, kind of like the seal on the agreement, for both humanity and for God, that this promise will never, ever be broken. Okay, so the world is secure, the rules are set. Now the story zooms right back in, from that epic divine promise to the single human family that's been tasked with repopulating the entire planet. And here they are, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. These are the three sons from whom all future nations are said to come from. Now, you're going to want to pay very close attention to that little detail in parentheses. Ham was the father of Canaan. It might seem like just a small note, but trust me, it is the key to everything that's about to happen next. And this is where the story takes a really dramatic and honestly a pretty uncomfortable turn. The hero of the flood, Noah, suddenly becomes the center of a family crisis, one that's going to have consequences that ripple out for generations. Okay, let's just walk through what happens here. So Noah, a farmer, plants the first vineyard, has a little too much of his own product, and passes out, completely vulnerable. His son, Ham, wanders in, sees his father in this shameful state, and instead of helping, what does he do? He runs outside to gossip about it to his brothers. But look at the difference with Shem and Japheth. Their response is the total opposite. They show respect, they show honor, they grab a garment, walk in backwards so they don't have to see their father's shame, and they cover him up. The contrast in their actions here could not be more clear. So when Noah wakes up and realizes what happened, his reaction is swift and it is severe. He doesn't just get angry at his sons. He pronounces a series of curses and blessings that are sent to define the future for their entire family lines. And this is the fallout. Now, notice something really important. The curse isn't aimed at Ham, the one who actually did the wrong thing. It's aimed at his son, Canaan, condemning his descendants to be the lowest of slaves. But in total contrast, Shem and Japheth get blessings of divine favor and expansion. This one single moment of disrespect is framed as the origin point for the destinies of entire peoples, and it's a passage that tragically has been twisted throughout history to justify some pretty terrible systems of slavery and hierarchy. After all that intense family drama, the story wraps up Noah's personal journey.
It says he lived for another 350 years, which is long enough to see the world he saved really begin its new chapter as his family grew and started to fill the earth.
And his total lifespan? An absolutely incredible 950 years. I mean, think about that. He lived through the world's complete destruction and then got to witness the very beginnings of its rebirth. He was literally a bridge between two different ages of humanity. So, what do we take away from all this? Well, from a divine promise that was sealed with a rainbow to a fateful curse whispered inside a tent, this ancient story really set the stage for a new world. It's a narrative that's been used for thousands of years to explain where nations come from and why there are hierarchies between them. And that leaves us with a pretty big question. How much of our world today is still shaped by the echoes of what happened to Noah's family right after the flood? If this explainer gave you something to think about, be sure to like, share, and subscribe for more deep dives into these foundational stories.